This is Kerrigan and Company. Why have a job when you can have a purpose? When you work for the Northeast Arc, you're joining a team dedicated to creating inclusive communities for people with disabilities. As an organization that supports more than 10,000 people each year, it's easy to find a role that fits your skills and passion. Become part of an organization that's been named one of the best employers in Massachusetts. Visit nearc.org/careers now to view job opportunities and apply. That's nearc.org/careers. It's all about the New England Patriots on this episode of Kerrigan and Company.
Kerrigan and Company is here for you. Yes, Kerrigan and Company is here for you.
Welcome, everybody, to Kerrigan and Company. It's so good to have you with us today. And, of course, we, like everybody else in the world, we're talking Patriots. Who's not talking about them? And if you're not, then you're under some kind of rock, so you need to get out. We've got three great guests today. I don't have a co-host because all three of my guests are in Patriots mode, so they couldn't be here in the studio. But we're really excited about it. Two of them are former players, and the one is a broadcaster who's covered the Patriots forever. All three names that all of you will know. So let's get started with our very first guest, who is a two-time Super Bowl champ. It's so great to have Christian Fauria with us. Hey, Christian, good to see you, my friend.
Oh, well, listen, how are you doing?
I'm good.
I'm sorry I can't be there. You know, I'm kind of a popular guy right now.
Oh, please.
You know, a lot of people want a piece of me now. Like,
is it just right now?
Ago?
Is it really just right now? Come on.
It's great, man. I can't. It's funny how the Patriots. The whole vibe is like so. It's almost like if you put me in a time capsule. You said, "Hey, listen, I'm gonna put you in a coma," like 5 years ago, and I just woke up now. I would think that nothing has ever changed. Like nothing has changed. They're still winning. They're still in the AFC Championship game. They're probably going to go to the Super Bowl, and here we go again.
It's crazy, isn't it? But of course, if you'd have been awake from that coma a year ago, would you have said this could ever happen?
Yeah.
In 1 year?
No. I would be like, what the hell? What'd they do to my coach? Like, why does everybody hate the Patriots? Why isn't there anybody in the stands? Why do we suck? Like, yeah,
there you go.
That's what I would have said. Yeah. And no chance in hell they would be going, at least playing for the, to get a chance to go to the Super Bowl. Not a chance.
Right. Well, absolutely. I think most people would say that exact same thing, which I think is part of when you talk about, like the culture and the vibe. It's so great because people really didn't think this was going to happen. So it's just like every time we see something great happen, people are just over the moon.
Yeah. And that word culture is thrown around so many times, and nobody really knows how to define it or explain it. And every coach tries, and when they do try to explain it, they all have a different explanation or philosophy about it. But in the end, it all kind of looks the same to me. And when I hear culture, I think Patriots. Like when I think rebranding, I think Patriots culture, which is a big responsibility of Mike Vrabel, and unbelievable job by him creating that culture in such a short period of time.
Do you think he was the only man for that job? The only guy who could really get that done so quickly?
No, but I think the other options were coaching teams. Like there's a lot of great coaches that are culture builders. Like Mike's not the only one. I would say this year specifically, Ben Johnson did it quickly in Chicago. Right. I would say under more difficult circumstances, Liam Cohen in Jacksonville did it for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So there's a lot of, I would say more than ever, more examples of coaches taking over franchises and flipping them on their head, like quickly. Because all those teams that I just mentioned, all those coaches, got their teams to the playoffs. Mm-hmm. But Mike, I think, is uniquely qualified for this job for multiple reasons. But the easy ones are his relationship and understanding of that team, of the fans, of the history, his toughness and, his snarkiness paired with his unwavering desire to win. And I think that's real impressive, man. Like you got to give him credit, and you got to give the Kraft credit for, just bailing on Gerard Mayo and paying out all that money, knowing that they made a mistake. and realizing that a better option was in front of him.
Well, I think you've named some of the reasons why I asked you if you thought he was the perfect guy and the guy who could do it, because he does know this franchise, he does know these fans, and he does have that edginess about him, but that competitive thing. But he's got something else too, Christian, which I have heard you actually talk about this in the past, and that's it. He brings with it a certain amount of empathy and sympathy. Those were the two words that I've heard you use that you didn't see in your playing days here with the Patriots so much because Bill Belichick was so different.
Yeah, and I don't think Bill had empathy or sympathy, to be honest with you, because they are different. And I always say sympathy because I think, empathy is more of, I know what you're feeling. And the answer is, you don't, because you may have broken your leg, but you didn't break your leg in a championship game.
Right.
So it's different. Like sympathy is real. Like I can have sympathy for you all day long. I know what it's like type of thing. And I think the fact that he was a player, highly recruited out of high school, a lot of success at Ohio State, but not a lot coming out of college. He really had to work his butt off. To get where he was at. And he was always the most vocal. And, to a man, anyone who was around Mike while he was playing, we all said the same thing. Dude's going to be a coach. Dude's a coach. You just know it. Like, they love the lifestyle. They can see, like, past all the nonsense. They can see, like, it's like a champion chess player. Right? And people always go, chess. Oh, he's playing chessers. Like, he's playing checkers. Like, he really sees it. Yeah. And that to me, and he's got the, to kind of do something about it. Yeah. Which I think some coaches they don't really want to do it. Like, they go into a room and they're intimidated by the players. Like, Mike's not walking into any rooms being intimidated by anybody.
Right. Yeah. I love that. Now I think what's become a tradition, this whole idea of he stands in the tunnel and greets every single player. How do you feel about that? Would you have liked that as a player? Because I got a feeling you played for a head coach here who never thought about giving you a hug, much less standing in the tunnel waiting for you.
Only once.
Only once?
No, twice.
More than I would have thought.
Twice. But it's not like it happens every year.
Yeah.
It's like Haley's Comet. It's like, if you win a Super Bowl, you get a hug the day of the Super Bowl.
Right.
And then when you get your rings, there's lots of hugs. Yeah. Other than that, there ain't no hugs.
Yeah.
The thing that kind of strikes me is cynics will look at Mike and call bullcrap. It's an act. When's he going to get tired of it? It's a lot of work showing that you care and you love about your players. It can't be real. Well, I would say the only reason why he can be consistent is because it is real. Yeah. It is authentic. Fake people give up when things don't go right. Fake people, they want to show you something, but they really are just told that that's what you want. I think Mike understands deeply like what each player needs individually. Now think about how many freaking guys that he's got to deal with. And they all want the attention. And they all want gratitude. And they all want coaching, which is a whole nother element. So I can't tell you like how impressed I am with how he's managed this year. And I would say, baseball, like Alex Cora is the manager. And I always used to tease him when I would talk with him. I was like, dude, you're just a coach. And then he would get into a definition of why it's different. And I was like, wow, because coaches really should be managers just like baseball players. But football players shouldn't dress up like baseball players when they coach. I don't understand why managers of a baseball team wear the uniform like the players and they get a number.
Right.
Can you imagine?
I'd never thought about
Mike Vrabel was wearing a uniform as he was coaching.
No, I don't want to see that. That's a very good point. Never
Joe
thought
Mazzulla
about that.
wearing his Celtics uniform as he's coaching.
Right. In his little shorts. We don't want that. Listen, I saw you recently on the Pete Susick podcast.
Yeah.
And you were on there the week before we played the Bills the second time. It was at that point that you said, and that was before, of course, we lost at home to the Bills, you said this team can absolutely go to the Super Bowl. You didn't say they could win it. You said they can go. But what you said, which I thought was amazing, at that time, so we're talking at least a month ago, you said, but standing between them and that is the Texans' defense. So, what do you think happened?
Well, in that game with the Texas defense, the Texans defense harassed the hell out of
Absolutely
Drake May. I mean, they sacked him. He turned it over. It was sloppy. The issue was that the Texans couldn't do anything with it when they got the extra possessions and they got the extra opportunities. They couldn't make the Patriots and Drake May suffer for their own consequences. They couldn't make them suffer for it and pay the price. So they lived to fight another day. And the Patriots defense, played unbelievable. Now, that Texans offense was a shell of itself. Like they were getting hurt left and right. Their right tackle went out. Nico Collins didn't play. Marks, their running back, he got dinged up. I mean, and C.J. Stroud
looked like he'd never played football.
Put him back in. He's not done. He's not done yet. He's not ready. And I think Troy Aikman said it best is that C.J. Stroud has been chasing his rookie year since his rookie year ended. He can't see the field. Right. So, but I look at that and then I'm like, this is, if they can get by this team, I think they have enough of the skill, coaching, attitude to go into Denver. If, at that time I wasn't sure who was going to win, but I was like, they can go into Denver and beat Denver, even with Bo Nix. And Bo Nix isn't playing now. Right. So it doesn't mean it's necessarily a ton easier. But I thought they were going to win anyways. Yeah. I just don't think I'm not ready to say they're going to win a Super Bowl because I think Seattle is like the best team, in the league right now in all three phases. Yeah.
I mean, they're hitting on every cylinder. So,
yeah. That's a different breed. That team is they're like, they have Houston's defense and the Rams offense. And then they have Mike Vrabel as a coach. Like, that's kind of what they're dealing with.
Well, what's the chances of us having all of that next season?
I think we're pretty close, to be honest with you. I think we're close now. I think that the defense is only going to get better. I think the offense is only going to get better. Drake May is going to get better. I don't think there's what they need? Growth. They just need like a little bit more maturity. The young rookies, that are on the left side, the Will Campbells and the Wilsons, those guys need, some seasoning. Yep. Drake Mays, the dude almost won the MVP. I know they haven't announced it, but it's going to go to Matthew Stafford. Yep. Drake May is going to be a close second. But listen, as far as like the young quarterbacks taking over the league, yes, he is absolutely top 5. And the crazy thing about him, my nickname for him is no emo, no emotion, zero. Right. You don't see him hollering and crazy. You don't see him crying. You don't see him slamming his helmet. He doesn't do any of that childish nonsense. Right. None of it. Yeah. He's ready. I mean, he's ready.
It's inevitable that he's going to be compared to Tom Brady if he continues to be a franchise quarterback. You played with Tom. How do these two? I mean, it looks like to me Drake May's he's more physical, athletic quarterback than Tom was. But Tom had, he played football here, which is just crazy. How do you compare the two? And is he a quarterback who could do great things like Tom did?
Absolutely. I would say, just to keep it fair for any quarterback, I just compare him to Josh Allen. Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow. No young quarterback should be compared to Brady. Right. It's nonsense. Because like what he accomplishes, it's never going to be done again. So can he have like some of the success that Brady had? Yeah, I think he's got a couple Super Bowls in him. Absolutely. Do I think he has 7? No. No, not a chance. And those two guys, like Brady, they have a lot of similar traits. The things that are obviously different is like, Drake is a really good athlete and, he can run. He doesn't get enough credit for how well of a runner he is. Right. But he's not even close to Brady's amount of knowledge that he has with understanding what's going on, his accuracy. That's not there yet. But it's pretty close. I don't even know if he's 23 yet.
Yeah, I think he's 23. That's it. Yeah.
I think about that. I was a junior in college. I was still trying to hey, what bar are we going to? It's amazing that that's the situation. Yeah. But I would say he's gonna be playing at this for the Patriots for at least 10 years.
Yeah,
He'll make $50 million a year. People are going to bitch and complain that he's making too much, but that's the cost of doing business in the NFL.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I hope he does play for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
I think it's fun to watch him develop, and he does seem like a guy who'd be a great part of the community as well. Let's real quickly talk about this game in Colorado. I know you said you think they can do it out there. A couple of things that seem to be going on here. First is the player who's not on the field, and that's just being on that field and the altitude. You're a guy who knows about this. You played at the University of Colorado. Does it make a difference? Is that going to be an issue?
I can't tell you how many times I've talked about this.
Oh, I bet you have.
People are freaking out about it. They feel like the boogeyman's going to come jump on their chest,
right.
And they're not going to be able to breathe. It is,
as if nobody's played there before.
Well, it is. So, listen, there is a reason why they put 5280 right on their helmet. They want to remind their opponent that there's this element that they need to be concerned with.
Sure.
It's written all over the place. It's talked all over the place. When I was at Colorado, we used to have it in the visitors' locker room, some phrase about, welcome to Boulder, Colorado, elevation, whatever, catch your breath, or good luck catching your breath. It's constantly talked about. Here's what I'll say. The air is thinner. I mean, that's a fact.
Yeah.
But you really kind of only feel it for like the first quarter.
Yeah.
And then you're like, and then I'm telling you, honest to God, you won't even realize it. You're not going to get it. It just leaves. It's harder playing in South Beach in
Miami,
with
right?
The heat and humidity than it is. That's what I would say. That's a real monkey on your back. But no, it's funny. The Broncos, they've been playing that card for decades. They play that card like it was crazy.
The fans hold up the signs. You look over and the whole side of the stadium, they're all holding the.
Yeah.
So that's a mind game. There's no two ways about it. The other one is, I know, you talked briefly, but obviously Bo Nix is out, and Jared Stidham's going to be in. This, not because he played here, but because earlier this season, management here looked at him as a possible backup for Drake May. They know who they're getting, right?
Yeah. I think they have a real clear understanding of who he is, what he's capable of doing. They're going to go back and look at his preseason stuff, but you may get a completely different offense game plan with Jarrett Stidham. I think the game plan is pretty obvious to me. You have home field advantage. You have the crowd advantage, which is a real advantage. The crowd advantage is a bigger advantage than the altitude, in my opinion. You just can't hear anything. And their defense is not as physical. Like the Houston Texans are real big and physical, and they don't really hide anything. The Broncos are going to hide everything. They're going to disguise everything. They're going to come from all over the place, and they get more sacks than anybody. They get more picks than anybody. So my gut tells me that the Broncos are going to have extra opportunities. Now, can they do anything with it? And I would say that the Patriots, if they do the whole counterpunch thing, if they just don't turn it over, and I know it's easier said than done, like they should win this game. Now, Stidham may come out and be like Peyton Manning back when it was, 2016 or something like that, when he couldn't even feel his fingers, and I think they scored 2 touchdowns and the Patriots lost.
Yeah.
Well,
only time is going to tell us how he performs, right? That's for sure.
I think I have a pretty good idea of how he's going to perform. I wouldn't be looking for flash or substance from Jarrett Stidham. I wouldn't be looking for a 250-yard passing day. Sean Payton is going to dink it and dunk it. It won't be more than 5 or 10 yards. That is what he's going to do. Yep. They don't have a good running game. They can't really run it.
Yep.
And they have all these all-pros on their offensive line, which is weird. And the Patriots have an unbelievable run defense. So, it's
could just be a short game.
I think that they have everything they need to win.
Okay. You, sir,
yes.
In addition to many, many things that I know that you do, you are now a professor. Let's talk a little bit about that.
And I would like to be addressed as the professor. Thank you very much.
You'll note that I did not bring this up in the beginning because I didn't want to have to call you professor throughout this entire interview. So I thought, we'll just hold this till the end. It's so cool, though. Good for you. And how many courses are you teaching down at Bryant?
I teach 3. I teach
What?
3. Yeah, I know, full time. So I teach sports broadcasting analysis course, which is
Yeah.
like for beginners who want to get into it. Teach them basic stuff.
Yep.
I teach a high level seniors only organization, leadership, communication, and sport. That's for like, it's a whole like philosophy on coaching, being a GM, media rights. We dive into that. But the thing that I love the most is I created a radio row class where I handpicked 10 students and we created 3 different sports radio shows.
Oh, how
And
cool.
I've been coaching them up since September, and in a couple of weeks, we're heading out to San Francisco. Gonna jump on that trolley, and then they're gonna have to perform live on Radio Row. Yeah, it's
That's
part of their grade.
fantastic.
I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. Probably didn't think it would be as hard as as it is, but I'm sure the reward is going to be great.
It's going to be terrific. And those kids, they are so lucky, and I feel confident they know that. I know if when I was in school.
Better.
Yeah, right. If I was ever exposed to somebody who was a true professional and I had that opportunity, somebody who had actually practically been out and about, it was a thrill for me. Of course, that was 284 years ago, so it's very hard to remember that, but I do think that happened to me a few times.
Well, don't be surprised if I end up calling you out to come visit the class, because the one thing I will say about people in our profession is they're really gracious with their time.
Yeah.
And their ability to tell their story. Yep. And I heard your story before we even started, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome, and I think they should hear it.
Absolutely.
So,
Well, you give me a call, and we'll make it a date, okay?
Absolutely.
Hey, Christian, thanks for all the insight. It's been so much fun. Really appreciate it. And I hope that you are in San Francisco with the Patriots.
I know. Me too. Me too. And I think it's going to happen. So if you need anything, you let me know. I'll be on Radio Row. I can hook up. We can talk anytime.
Super. Thanks, Christian, so much. All right, everybody. What a treat that has been. And stay with us because we've got a lot more coming your way. This is Kerrigan and Company.
Get ready for another dazzling season of musicals at Bill Haney's North Shore Music Theater. The rhythm is gonna get you when the 2026 season begins in June with On Your Feet, the inspiring true story of Emilio and Gloria Estefan. Followed by a colorful production of the family favorite, Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. And it will be nothing but a good time when Rock of Ages rocks the NSMT stage. That is followed by the breathtaking Tony Award-winning musical, Come From Away. Welcome to the Rock! And the season ends with a haunting production of Yeston and Kopit's Phantom. For more information about North Shore Music Theater tickets, discount subscription packages, and our full season of kid shows and concerts, please visit nsmt.org.
This segment of Kerrigan and Company is brought to you by Lucia Lighting and Design, where people in the know go for the best possible lighting and design experience. All right, everybody, welcome back to Kerrigan and Company. And of course, we want to continue this conversation about the Patriots, our Patriots headed to the AFC Championship this weekend in Colorado. And we thought, who better to talk to than somebody who has joined us once before? And we were tickled pink then, and we are now tickled Patriots red and blue. And this is, of course, Max Lane, a former Patriot. Max, good to see you.
Kind of good to see you too, Kim. How's it going?
Really, really good. And I am so happy. You know, I was thinking about this, Max, and you were with us the first year that Kerrigan and Company was in existence. And then we didn't have you last year because we really didn't talk anything about football last year for pretty obvious reasons.
I understand.
What do you...
I think I was on like one of your first shows.
Yeah.
Like maybe the third or fourth or somewhere in there.
Yeah. You were, and you were a hit, I got to tell you. And you were a big hit with me, if you remember, because, you and I are both from Missouri, and
That's right.
You're a Kansas City kind of guy, and I love that about you. But right now, I know you're a Patriots fan.
Absolutely. I mean, this is just such a fun time in this region. And even like being an alumni now, it's like a whole different feeling down there. Just a fresh, new feeling, I think, from a fan's perspective, from an alumni perspective. it's great. What a difference a year makes.
You were on the sidelines on Saturday when they played the Texans. Just give me, and you were there because you continue to be an inspector for uniforms there during home games, which is such a cool thing. What was that atmosphere like? I can't imagine. It was cold, but it had to have been so exciting.
Oh yeah, I mean that atmosphere. If you put the weather into it, that's exactly what everybody wanted on Sunday. Yeah, people bundled up for it and all that, but with Houston coming to town, you wanted that. I mean, that snow was just perfect. I mean, the pick, everything about it was electric. And even the game itself, like it was, they were in control the whole game, even when they were down, like when they were down 10-7 at some point. Like I never felt like they were out of control of the game, and that's is a testament to like those guys, and it's a young team, and and just they're learning how to win, like on the job training right there. It's just on the job training, learning how to win playoff games.
Sure, absolutely. Absolutely. I was thinking about this, and I think somebody wrote about it in the Globe this week. Sunday proved that open air stadiums are still the way you want to play, because when you play in those closed stadiums, you're a little more particular about it. You talked about, just a fresh, new approach to everything. Obviously, one of the biggest changes this year is Mike Vrabel. So I don't know. Did you play with Mike?
Played against Mike. Mike's first couple of years in the league he was playing with Pittsburgh,
right?
And played against him in the playoffs in 1997. And he actually sacked Bledsoe that kind of ended our chance of winning that game. In that game, but it wasn't against me though, so I didn't give up the sack. But anyway, but no, I played against him, and then he signed here in March of 01, and then New England cut me in May of 01. And so we overlapped for like a couple months, spent some time out in Hawaii at a players union rep meeting in that time frame, but I never got to play with him. But I've seen him over the years. Here and there when he was with the Texans and all that, and so I know him. I don't know him well, but I know him good enough to know what kind of guy he is.
Yeah. Well, would you say that he's the impetus behind the change down there? I mean, it seems to me that the atmosphere. Let's just start with the way he conducts business. I think he's obviously very tough, but he's a real, it appears, players coach.
Yeah, I think so. I think a combination of him for sure. Bringing Josh McDaniels back, I think has been a big highlight too, especially with the development of Drake May, and Drake himself. Yeah. I mean, he's a great kid. I think he's, we'll see what happens to him after this year. I think he's going to blow up after this year, in a good way.
Yeah.
But I just think, the culture, the shift, everything has changed down there. And, from being down there at every game, like last year, I would want to leave at halftime. Like I'd be done with whatever my duties were, and I would want to leave at halftime because it was not a fun place to be.
Yeah, sure.
And this year, it's a whole different, it's a whole different attitude down there. I think the other thing that kind of has shifted is the fans' perspective. Back in like 2016, 18, back in the end of the Brady years, fans were expected to win the game, and they were pissed off if they didn't win the game. Yeah. And now having that little bit of decline in between then and now has kind of shifted their perspective back to where it should be. And now they're hopeful to win the game, but not expecting it. And then when it happens, they're excited.
Yeah.
And that's exactly where you want that at. Yeah. You don't want to have that spoiled fan that expects the win every game. You want them hopeful, but not expecting. Absolutely. And that's the way it is. It's a fresh, new perspective down there.
Yeah, absolutely. I have to tell you, Max, I admit this. throughout this entire season, as they continued to win and continued to win, I was one of those people who kept turning to other people going, wow, that was so great. Are they good? Are they good? And I want to ask you, because we do have the luxury of now obviously being able to look at a full season so far, but did you think they were this good or they were coachable? There was enough talent there when they first started, stumbled a bit to get where they are right now?
It's hard to tell. I mean, I was expecting, I was thinking 9-8 would have been a great year.
Sure.
Like, would have been.
It would have been.
Okay, they met expectations. They improved all that, and then they were back on the right track. Nobody would ever predict what happened this year, but against Oakland, the first game of the season, no, they were not good. In Pittsburgh, in the third game of the season when they lost, no, they were not good. The second game when they won down in Miami, no, they were not good, even though they won. Because we saw what happened to Miami for the rest of the year. But they just kept plugging away.
Yeah.
Just kept plugging away. Yeah. And, they weren't good at the beginning of the year, but that's not, it's a long season. It's a different team. All the teams, a lot of times, are different now than they were their first couple of games.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. So, you bet. There was a lot of talent there. We just didn't see it in those first couple of games. Max, talk to me a little bit, because you were an offensive lineman, so you understand this. Last week when they played the Texans, everybody talked about the Texans' defense, and there would just be no way. And I mean, that offensive line, I couldn't have smiled more. I have an appreciation for an offensive line, and we've got rookies on that line, and they held that defense off. Defense was good. Don't get me wrong. The Texans' defense, even on a bad day, was good.
They gave up sacks. They gave up pressures.
Absolutely. But what did give me your things
on there?
Okay, so give me your idea.
Yeah. I mean, the exciting thing about that, Kim, is that they didn't play their best game, but they still controlled the game. Mm-hmm. That's what's exciting about that as you go forward into this week, because there's a lot of room for improvement from the past two games going into Denver, and then eventually, hopefully, on to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. What do you think about Denver? I mean, obviously everybody thinks now, they've got quarterback issues, although Stedham is a guy who is well known to the Patriots, not because he played here before, but they were actually looking at him as a backup behind Drake May this season, so they're pretty familiar with him there in Foxborough. Do you think he will be the factor that could change this whole situation, or can he steady that ship?
I feel like that's the mystery. That's the unknown factor right there, because you haven't seen a lot of him in games, especially in this type of atmosphere, this type of situation. Right. But Denver still has a lot of weapons around them. Like, their offense is better than the Texans' offense. Mm-hmm. Our defense played well, but the Texans' offense was a shell of what they were earlier in the year. Yeah. So, I think, just like it's not rocket science. They got to take care of the ball. Drake's got to be better taking care of the ball. They got to protect him better going in, because Denver has, what Houston's defense was or more, and so they're going to be dealing with that. And then, on offensively, they got to play a better game. They got to protect the ball. In this time of year, running the ball is important, and they've started to do that. Ramondre Stevenson is really carrying the load for him. And then you got Henderson, with the little, it's kind of like thunder and lightning. Yeah. Stevenson's the thunder, Henderson's the lightning. And, if they can keep that, combination going, and without putting the ball, with taking care of the ball, they're going to be in good shape.
Sure, absolutely. So let's jump over to the NFC real quickly here. Seattle and the Rams. To me, I was just saying this before we went on, it feels like all roads to the Super Bowl lead through Seattle. I mean, if they fire the way they did last week, again, on all cylinders, they're going to be hard to beat. And that's not to say that LA is not really good. What do you see over there?
I see Seattle run away with it. If everything keeps going the way it's going, I think Matt Stafford's magic runs out in Seattle. You know, for the whole picture, like my heart says Patriots all the way. My head says Seattle. Yeah, what they're doing right now is pretty remarkable, and they're hit, you know, all three phases of the game. Seattle is just, you know, they're peaking right at the right time.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, our Patriots, I feel like they too have peaked at the right time, which is so great and given all of us a great ride. Do you anticipate this is a team that, I think they've done beyond anybody's expectations this season? What do you think about seasons to come? This could be another really unbelievable Patriots team, right?
I'm glad, Kim. I'm glad you asked that. I've been thinking a lot about that, and you know, Mike Vrabel's first press conference, he laid out what his expectations were: winning the AFC East, getting home playoff games, and competing for championships. And that's what, and they have hit all three of those, right? But he didn't give a timeline, right? He kept on saying, "I don't. This isn't a timeline. I can't give you a timeline on it." But they've hit it. Now, going back to the whole fans' perspective, if they go, you know, right now, if they go to Denver and they lose, you know, we don't want that. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. But if they do, you got to shift it back to that opening press conference is what the expectations should be every year. Even if they beat Denver and go to the Super Bowl and beat Seattle, going into next year, it's the same. Like, I don't think it's ever a Super Bowl or bust type of situation. Now, once you get in there and you start winning those games and you check off that first box, AFC East,
right?
Then yes, your expectation raises.
You bet.
Then you check off those playoff games, yes, and then competing for a championship and win it, yes. That's when the expectation raises. But next year, it all goes back to win the AFC East, get a whole playoff game, competing for championship.
You bet.
All right, the bar comes back. All right.
Right.
So that's the way I think about for the future.
Absolutely. Well, Max, this has been so much fun. You still coaching?
I do. I am. I coach up at Phillips Exeter. I love it. We're winning a lot of games, you know, but that's why I understand it's a new year every year.
Absolutely.
It's a new year every year. Just because you did what you did last year doesn't mean you're going to do it again the next year. Fortunately, we have, but you have to reset every year and go into it like it's a fresh new year.
You bet. Well, continued success. I am so glad that you could come back and join us here on Kerrigan and Company. It's been so fun. You're going to become our resident football expert. I want you to know.
Oh, yeah, there you go. There you go. Do I get it? I don't. Since I'm not there, I don't get a coffee mug today.
I know.
I have my coffee. I still have my coffee mug. I use it.
Good. Excellent. You spread the word, and I'll make sure that our producer sends you another one. He owes you another one at least, right?
Right. Yeah, you got it.
Max Lane, thank you so much. And we'll keep our fingers crossed for our Patriots. I'm proud of where they are right now. All right. Take care. All right, everybody, stay with us. This is Kerrigan and Company. If you need a new look for lighting in your home, you need to go to Lucia Lighting and Design. The spectacular 10,000 square foot showroom inside a mansion in Lynn, Massachusetts is decorated with both architectural and decorative lighting in every style. From crystal and traditional to contemporary and modern, the selection is unmatched. Whenever I'm looking for new lighting, I head right to Lucia Lighting and Design. When I'm not sure what I'm looking for, I rely on the expert guidance of Lucia Lighting and Design's team. I know they can help me, and I know they can help you too. Learn more and book your appointment today at lucialighting.com.
If you like rum, you're going to love Rumson's Rum, New England's most award-winning rum brand. Rumson creates distinctive and savory flavor profiles by hand-selecting and marrying the finest barrel-aged Caribbean rums. The spirits are then blended and finished in the New England Rum House. Choose from Rumson's Gold, Spiced, Grand Reserve, or Coffee Rum. Find Rumson's at liquor stores or ask for it at your favorite restaurant. Learn more at rumsons.com. That's rumsons.com. Rumsons. Life lived, life enjoyed.
This segment of Kerrigan and Company is brought to you by the North Shore Music Theater, which has just announced its spectacular 2026 season. Learn more at nsmt.org. Welcome back, everybody. Our next guest is somebody you know. You know him from years of television here in the Boston market from WCVB. You also know him if you watch our podcast regularly because he was a guest with me earlier this year. But I absolutely cannot do an episode about the Patriots and not have, of course, have Mike Lynch with me. Good to see you.
Hi, Kim. How's everybody in Boston?
Please don't start down this road. I'm telling you, we'll pull the plug on you. Mike is not here in Boston. He's down south where he's complaining because it's in the high 50s right now. So I'm trying to be kind to you, Mike. I'm trying to love you. But we're good, and I hope you're doing well. And you look terrific, by the way.
Yeah, I'm doing great. Down here, it's more suited. I don't slip on any ice. Everything's flat and level, so I get to walk, exercise, and then when it gets to be 70 or 80, I get to stick it in everybody's face up in Boston.
Listen, you can do it right now, and it's just approaching 60. You know, we all feel that we're being cheated. You were here earlier in the year because we chatted about the fact that you'd had a stroke a couple of years ago, and we had an excellent show, and you were the middle of it, and we so appreciated you being here and sharing your story. You at the time felt like you were continuing to progress. Tell me where you are now in that progression.
Same way. I mean, the progression used to be like this. Now it's more like, at 10 degrees, but there's improvement. I get tested every month, all different kinds of cognitive tests, physical tests, mental tests. And every time I've improved from the month before. So that's a good sign. And keep on moving up, and that's all you can do. Absolutely.
Well, that's great music to my ears, and I know it is to so many of our watchers and listeners. So I'm so happy, Mike, and you just continue that great progress. And I hope it is 85 degrees there, so that you have an opportunity to get out and about and feel better. I feel sure that it's a big morale boost, if nothing else, for sure, right? Sure. Yeah. Hey, we've got you here today because we got to talk about those Patriots. How about those Patriots, huh?
Unbelievable. At the beginning of the year, everyone picks a number. How many wins are they going to have? And I would say that everybody was optimistic this year, but optimistic is like 7 or 8 wins. It wasn't 14 wins, and now we've turned into 16 wins. Anybody here who thought that this was going to be happen is just flat out not telling the truth, because this is really a surprise to everybody, and a pleasant surprise as well, because I mean, right now the things keep going. The Patriots are going to take us right to the middle of February, and the winter's half over.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, then we go into spring training. I mean, this is good. Well, our former guests, which was, of course, Christian and Max, both saying the exact same thing you did. Max even said, when he saw him play at the very beginning of the season, he thought that is not a good team. And I've been one of those people throughout the entire season who didn't miss a game, but, some of these were close games, and even the games that weren't close were not clean. And I, at the end of every game, would go, wow, that was fabulous. Are they good? I couldn't tell. Do you think that they now have shut up naysayers like me and all of these pundits who said, well, they had such a light schedule, yeah. Have they proven everybody wrong?
Absolutely. There's only 4. There are 32 teams in the National Football League. Right now, there are 4 standing, and one of those 4 teams is the New England Patriots. Yeah. And they have certainly they played who was on the schedule, and they beat who was on the schedule. What I can't believe is the team with the worst record in the National Football League and the number 1 pick are the Las Vegas Raiders, and the Patriots lost to the Raiders in the first game of the season.
Right.
So that was not a good start. But that's so far in the rearview mirror, and which I think is one thing they've been able to really do really well, is that even when they fumble the ball away, they come right back out and boom, they drive down the field and they score a touchdown. They've taken that rearview mirror and just ripped it off off the windshield of their car, and they've tossed it out the window.
Yeah.
And they do as good a job as anybody with that.
This is the first time in a long time, Mike, for me as a fan, I have felt like when we get down a bit, there's still a chance.
Yeah.
You always felt that way when Tom Brady stepped back on the field.
Yeah.
You always knew you still had a chance. I feel that way about this team.
I do too, and it's because of the quarterback and the offensive coordinator, Josh McDaniels.
Yeah.
I mean, he really has just planted a belief in this quarterback's head that he can do no wrong, and there is no obstacle that's too tall or too hard or too difficult for this team. And this kid is really something. I mean, he really is. He's not a Tom Brady, but he's pretty darn close.
Yeah. Well, we were talking about that with Christian and saying, it's really unfair. It is certainly natural for all of us to go, well, let's compare him to Tom Brady. But he's 23 years old. He's in his second season. It's a little early to start to compare him to somebody like that. But when you look at him as compared to some of these other young quarterbacks in the league now, because, this new branch of young men, they're all stepping in, he certainly ranks among the top.
He's at the very top, and he might be at the very top of all the quarterbacks in the list. Yeah. I think he should be the most valuable player. A lot of people are going to say, well, Matthew Stafford has been around, and he's earned it, and, Drake May's going to get his chance and many chances. I say baloney. Whoever the best player in the league is that year is the MVP. And to me, the MVP, the Patriots would not be in the AFC Championship right now were it not for Drake May. And Drake May, it not only is played sensational himself, but he has that gift that Brady had, that Larry Bird had, that Bobby Orr had. They make everybody else around them better. Yeah. He elevates the play of everybody else on the team.
He really has a personality that seems to me just exudes leadership. Yeah. He's young, and I feel sure that he probably looks around the locker room and thinks, well, there's guys here with more experience and so maybe more knowledge. But he really does seem like a guy who carries himself in a way that's well respected, and that's important in that job.
It is important, and that's something that you can't buy.
Right.
Something that isn't given to you. You have to earn that. And you earn that by your actions. You don't earn that being a rah-rah guy jumping up and down, making the most noise. Come on, let's go. Mm-hmm. You do it through your actions. Mm-hmm. And he has done it through his actions in a short period of time, not even 2 full years. He has commanded this football team, and he has command of this entire region right now.
Yeah, he certainly does. That is for sure. Well, I guess when you're the youngest of 4 boys, and you sort of learn how to stand back and just, when your time comes, right? That's for certain. We're talking about, who you think should be the MVP of the league when it comes to players. But let's talk about Mike Vrabel for just a second, because he's the guy he's the change that came into this team that seems to have changed the whole trajectory of the New England Patriots. Your thoughts about Mike Vrabel?
Well, I loved him as a player. I covered him as a player. He was a spectacular player. He was hard-nosed. He held everybody accountable. And he went on to Tennessee and was a great coach down there. He got fired after 6 seasons. Mm-hmm. And they made they made a mistake with Gerard Mayo. And I'm glad that Patriots, realized it right away, not after 1, 2, 3, or 4 years, right. After 1 year. And they brought Vrabel in. And from day number 1, Vrabel has been a guy that's he demands accountability, but he's also what they call a player's coach, which can be a dangerous thing, because if you're a player's coach, you could be everybody's best friend. And he's friendly with the guys. He's encouraging to the guys. But that doesn't mean, you're not going to hear it if you mess up.
Sure, absolutely. It's interesting because you've covered the culture with the Patriots for a lot of years. So obviously you were here for all of the Bill Belichick years. Do you see, first off, similarities in their coaching? I'm not talking about the men. I'm talking about their coaching. Did Mike pick up things from Bill Belichick that you're seeing now?
No question about it. I think he picked up things from not only from Belichick, but he picked up things from guys like Romeo Crennel, who was a defensive coach. That entire staff that Bill Belichick had was a lot of great coaches. That there were great leaders and great teachers, and that's something that Mike Vrabel picked up along the way. Everybody who's a great coach in every single sport picks up a little something from the different people they've been exposed to. You filter it. You say, I don't think this is something, but this is something I learned from this coach. I'm going to take with me the rest of my playing career, and if I have a coaching career. And Vrabel's been able to filter out the stuff that's useless and stick and adhere to the stuff that's going to make him a winner.
Absolutely. Yeah, I said, they're not the same person. Obviously, Bill Belichick dealt with players a lot differently, it appears. I don't know because I'm not in that locker room, but it appears he dealt with players a lot differently. Yeah,
I think there are some coaches that say one rule for the whole team. There are other coaches that say, well, this guy, I coach this guy a certain way. I have different expectations for this guy, and I think Vrabel's that way with all these guys. I mean, if a player fumbles football, if a player throws an interception, Belichick was kind of a cold feeling guy, but you see Vrabel going over to the bench and putting his arm around the guy. Listen, forget about that. Let's move on. And to young guys who are, you look at their eyes. They're looking around, okay, was that okay that I fumbled? Am I going to get benched? Et cetera, et cetera. And he gives them a sense of urgency. Then they go right back out there and they make a great play and they make a touchdown and all's forgotten.
Mike, you think that's why this young team has been able to flourish the way it has? Because he's a guy who can deal with a young team?
No, there's no question about it. He does a great job remembering Vrabel, I'm talking about, that he was their age once as well and did some stupid things, made some mistakes, but, he got encouragement from his players and got encouragement from his assistant coaches. Yeah. And he's done a great job just using everything that he had in his entire playing career now in his coaching career.
Sure, absolutely. Let's talk about this coming Sunday. They're headed, obviously, to Denver, and Denver's got their share of problems that they're dealing with, but Denver has been a good team this entire season. What do you anticipate?
I anticipate the Patriots are going to win 24-10.
Okay.
I think that the Denver's going to have trouble scoring points. They've got their quarterback is Jarrett Stidham, who the Patriots drafted years ago, but they thought so little of that they signed Cam Newton to be the quarterback in place of him years ago. He hasn't thrown a pass in a game in almost 3 full seasons. Denver's had a great year. They were the best record in the AFC, but it's going to come to an end. And I'm not just saying this as a Yahoo homer. If Bo Nix, their quarterback, was playing, we have a different conversation. Yeah. But right now, I think this is all Patriots all the way. The road is cleared to the Super Bowl.
Well, let's look over on the national side. NFC, what do you think is going to happen there?
Well, everyone thinks that the best team in the NFC is the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah.
But I watch out for the Rams. There's a guy that may edge out Drake May for the MVP, and Matthew Stafford, their quarterback. They've got Devontae Adams. They've got Puka Nacua, one of the great names. And
better you said it than me.
Yeah. So I see the Rams upsetting the Seahawks in the NFC. That'll be the 6:30 game.
Yeah. Well, you're the first one on this show who has said that, so I'm so glad that you did. That's really interesting. And what do you think? If in fact that was a matchup, now I don't like people, I'm superstitious, so I don't like to jump ahead. But if that was a matchup, the Rams and the Patriots, that'd be a good game.
That'd be a heck of a game. That would be an overtime game. Okay. That would be a 27-24 game. I don't know who's going to win, but I think that would be a better game than the Patriots and the Seahawks. So I think the Rams and the Patriots would be one heck of a matchup.
I'm glad you didn't say who you thought would win, because superstition tells us we don't do that.
No, plus that's 3 weeks away, so I got plenty of time to change my mind and to reevaluate.
Yeah, what you got to do is just get through Sunday. And then after that, then you can start to think about where that all ends. Mike,
I'm so happy about is the game's at 3:00 for the second week in a row.
Yeah.
The first playoff game was at 8:15 at night, and I think of all the, I'm thinking of my grandsons. They're 4 and 5 years old. They got to go to bed. They can't watch. Well, they got to watch the game last week at 3:00. Yes. They get to watch it this week at 3:00. Yeah. And it'll be a lot of fun because there's a whole new generation that has not been exposed to all this Patriots hype and hula.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And it's fun. It's fun for the fans because it is sort of a fresh start again. So everything is exciting again, which is great.
Yeah. It's new. It's
you bet. Hey, Mike Lynch, it's so good to see you, my friend. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kim.
We're going to do, we're going to do a remote show there at your place in Florida.
On down.
Okay.
Bring the whole crew. I know everybody will want to come down for this road trip, right?
Yeah, that's right. Everybody wants to come. All right. Good to see you. Go Pats, and we'll talk very soon.
Thanks, Kim. And go Swamp Scott. Don't forget that.
Absolutely. Right. Go Swamp Scott. All right, everybody. We'll take a break and wrap things up on the other side. My friends at Sienna Aesthetics in Beverly are all about you feeling and looking your best, exuding confidence. They listen to their clients and offer the services and attention needed for optimal results. And now they're excited to introduce their new esthetician, Jen. Jen specializes in brows and lashes, which means Sienna is now offering brow lamination, lamination and tint, henna, semi-permanent micro shading, and full luscious lashes. Make your appointment today. Jen is available on Wednesdays and Thursdays. Go to siennaaesthetics.com. This segment of Kerrigan & Company is brought to you by Sienna Aesthetics Medical Spa. Take years off your face with the very latest technologies at Sienna Aesthetics in Beverly. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Kerrigan & Company. So glad that you could be with us. I hope you've enjoyed it. We're excited about the Patriots. And again, that is coming up this Sunday, just after 3:00. So we'll keep our fingers crossed. See, I think it's really cool that Mike had a prediction. We'll see just how close he is. In the meantime, if you're watching us on YouTube, we ask that you subscribe. And if you're listening to us, be sure that you subscribe wherever it is that you're listening. And be sure that you follow us on social. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you again next week. Thanks, everybody, for listening to Kerrigan & Company. To find out who will keep me company and be my co-host on the next episode, be sure you follow us on Instagram, Facebook, X, and TikTok. Kerrigan & Company is recorded at the Big Night Studios at the TD Garden in Boston. You can view the podcast on YouTube and listen to it wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure you tell a friend. The executive producer of Kerrigan & Company is David Thompson, and our social media managers are Grace Kerrigan, Colby Thompson, and Riley Thompson. See you next time.